Getting old. First of all, I want to thank Nancy and thank the Chamber Board members for all they do. They say a successful community. If you see a successful community, you see a successful Chamber Board. And I think that from the look of the crowd here and the people who make up that crowd, Rushville is well on its way. So that's a good thing. But to the point I'm really here for is to introduce a living legend. Who's your living legend? This is a gentleman who has never rested on his laurels. If you look into history about him, he's overachieved at every level he's ever been involved in. And when they asked me to do this introduction, I kind of went back and did the history of Richard Lugar. And it is amazing. And we could talk about it all night long. But I broke it into three things, well, two that I thought were relative to Rush County, and one that's probably relative to the world. If you look at Richard Lugar early on, he was a farmer, a guy who grew corn and soybeans in Marion County, Indiana. Then he became a businessman, where as a businessman, he focused on exporting product to other countries to make his business grow, much like you see in some of the companies that are located here in Rush County. And then finally, the one that impacted the world would be the fact that as a United States Senator, he has destroyed arguably more weapons of mass destruction than any single human being in the world. And I think that the one thing I would say I was guilty of, and I think a lot of people are guilty of, is you wonder what the impact of Richard Lugar has been in Rush County, Indiana. And there's a video, if you can turn and look back there, there's a video of people from this community so that you can see the impact Richard Lugar has had on Rush County.
Hello, my name is Mike Purcell and I work at Emerson Climate Technologies. In February, Senator Lugar visited us to see how we were creating jobs. He has since then used that information to show how companies like ours can communicate at a global level. We'd like to thank Senator Lugar for taking interest in our community of Rush County.
Hi, I'm John McCain, and I, along with Brian Sheehan and Dan Shanahan, head up the Rushville St. Patrick's Day Committee. This past spring, when we were preparing for our annual celebration, we asked Senator Lugar and some of our other elected officials if they could join us in promoting our cause. Well, needless to say, I think Dan and Brian and I were humbled when we received letters from the Embassy of Ireland congratulating us for our promotion of our Irish heritage here in Rush County. So I guess I can say on behalf of the Rushville St. Patrick's Day Committee, top of the morning to you, Senator. Welcome to Rush County, and thanks for your support.
Hi, my name is Brad Rist. I'm Director of Operations at Intapp Precision. Earlier in the spring, the office of Senator Lugar contacted us and actually came to visit. We talked about the products that we make and ship up to Canada. And I just want to thank him for coming in, taking the time to learn about our business. At the same time, the serious event that took place in Japan on March 11th with the tsunami dramatically impacted us. Shortly after the event, we got a phone call from the office of Senator Lugar, and he asked specifically if any of our Japanese associates or any of their friends and family were affected by the tsunami. I just want to say thank you for expressing that concern, and luckily for us, the answer to that question was no.
Hello, I'm Sue Lebo, principal of Milroy Elementary School. This year we dedicated our new school building. As part of this dedication, we're very pleased that Senator Lugar had a flag specifically flown over the United States Capitol building in Washington, D.C. in recognition of our new school. The students in town of Milroy want to thank Senator Lugar. We also would like to thank Bill Ward, who was instrumental in making arrangements for us to receive the flag. Welcome to Rush County, Senator Lugar.
Hi, Matt Breslau from Pioneer Hybrid in Rushville. Earlier this spring, Senator Lugar's staff stopped out at our location to discuss how seed grown in Rush County is sold through farmers throughout the world. A special thanks to Senator Lugar for caring about Pioneer and about the farmers of Rush County.
See by the video that Senator Lugar's had a huge impact in Rush County, whether we knew it, whether it was being touted or not. I think something that has allowed Senator Lugar to make the achievements he's made is the fact he has always had a strong staff. Those of us who have ever been involved in politics, you pick up the phone when you think you've got a good idea or when you think something's not been a good idea, and you call his office and you get his staff, and they usually will help you through whatever the issue is. I think it would be remiss of me to not mention his staff member who is sitting here before us today, a personal friend of mine, a native of Rushville, and a person with a name that's well recognized with a lot of heritage in Rush County. That would be David Wilkie. Earlier I talked about the things that Senator Lugar's done in the past, and right now we're dealing with, obviously, economic times that aren't favorable. So I think it's important that we talk about some of the things he's doing right now. Senator Lugar understands top-line growth and that companies need to make a profit in order to hire more people. In the job plan, the current job plan, what he is recommending is cut unnecessary regulation and radically change the tax code. One of the things that's being promoted is to increase exports in a way that allows people to, communities like ours, to hire additional people. It wouldn't be right to have this conversation in Rushville, Indiana, without talking about agriculture. In agriculture, the current farm bill would open up more choices for farmers and would cut wasteful federal spending. So we applaud his efforts in all of these areas and all the work he's done. So on that note, please help me welcome and thank Senator Dick Lugar for joining us today in Rushville, Indiana at the Chamber's annual event. This is a man who I think history will remember as a man who was good for Indiana and good for business. Senator Richard Lugar.
Opportunity to visit with Rush County Chamber of Commerce at the time of your annual meeting, as you come together to think once again about the important future of this community. I'm especially indebted to Paul Barrett and Nancy Rice for their sponsorship and their invitation. I appreciate so much that leadership. Good to see Mayor Bostic. Likewise, I visit with Gene Lyson. We've worked in the legislature for many years on a lot of construction projects, and many dear friends. And I can't let the opportunity pass because David Wilkie is here, who means so much to me on my staff, to recall not only his father, who received the Citizen of the Year award, which you pointed out 30 years ago, but his grandfather, Wendell Wilkie. Now you would ask, why in the world would I think of Wendell Wilkie? Well, I've been asked several times in recent weeks, what triggered your interest in politics, or your sense of imagination about all of this? And in part, obviously, in large part, it was my dad and my mother. But I remember my dad especially, because I was never allowed to stay up after midnight when I was an 8-year-old. But the first exception to that rule came the night that the Republican National Convention of 1940 was deliberating over the nomination for president. The competitors, by and large, were Bob Taft, Senator from Ohio, Tom Dewey, Governor of New York, and Wendell Wilkie of Indiana.